Goodbye sleepless nights because of unbearable itching. You're there, lying in your bed, constantly tossing and turning because the irritation simply won't stop, that burning sensation that seems to drive you crazy. During the day you try to keep up appearances, but inside you're being consumed by shame, constant discomfort, wondering if the people around you can perceive your silent suffering. You avoid wearing certain clothes because you know they'll irritate even more. You feel uncomfortable in intimate moments. You're afraid to leave home on bad days. And worst of all is living in this constant anxiety of never knowing when the next crisis will explode. You've been through this before. You've tried absolutely everything within your reach, spent fortunes on extremely expensive ointments that promised miracles, swallowed pills that only upset your stomach and worsened the symptoms, followed impossible restrictive diets that brought no lasting results, and every time you thought you had finally managed to control the situation, there came the candidiasis back stronger, more resistant, more persistent than before. It's as if your own body is waging an internal war against you, and you simply can't win this battle that has been dragging on for months, maybe even years of your life. What you haven't discovered yet is that there's a list of foods that are true poisons for those who suffer from recurrent candidiasis, and most likely you're consuming at least 3 of them daily, without having the slightest idea of the damage they're causing in your organism. International research shows that 91% of women with persistent candidiasis consume these foods regularly, keeping the fungus always active and strengthened. But there's a natural solution that 96% of women are completely unaware of. Today I'm going to reveal the 8 foods you need to urgently eliminate from your diet if you want to get rid of candidiasis definitively, with the second item on this list being so dangerous that it literally feeds the fungus and may be sabotaging your entire treatment without you realizing it. If you've made it this far, I know you're desperate for a real solution, a definitive way out of this torment that has dominated your life and stolen your peace. You're not alone in this desperate struggle. Here on the channel, we've already helped thousands of women who went through exactly the same hell you're living now, and they managed to completely recover their quality of life using natural methods that really work, without devastating side effects. When you subscribe to the channel, you start receiving weekly natural and accessible tips that really work in practice, solutions tested and approved by real women who suffered like you, methods to get immediate relief from symptoms without depending exclusively on medications that destroy your organism, guidance to drastically improve your quality of life and self-esteem, plus being part of an incredible community that understands and supports you unconditionally in this healing journey. I literally dedicate my entire life to researching and sharing natural solutions for feminine problems, especially those that traditional medicine sometimes can't completely resolve, or that only treat symptoms without attacking the root of the problem. Trust me when I say that the information you're going to discover here can change your life, the same way it changed the lives of thousands of other women who today live completely free from recurrent candidiasis. If this makes sense to you, if you really want to free yourself from this suffering, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any tip that could be the missing piece in your healing puzzle. My commitment is to help you recover your quality of life and well-being, using the transformative power of nature and conscious eating. Now let's get to what really matters, this revolutionary list that could be the key to your definitive cure. Before we start, tell me here in the comments, how long have you been suffering from recurrent candidiasis, and what was the strangest or most desperate treatment you've ever tried? I want to better understand the profile of those watching, because this helps me create even more specific and targeted content for your needs. Don't be ashamed to share your experiences. This is a completely safe space of mutual support, where we all understand each other. Number 8. Dried and crystallized fruits. Dried and crystallized fruits may seem like a healthy and natural option, but they're true concentrated sugar bombs that directly feed Candida albicans in a devastating way. During the dehydration process, all the water from the fruit is removed, but the natural sugar remains concentrated at extremely high levels, creating a food with a glycemic index similar to conventional sweets. When you consume a portion of dates, raisins, dried figs, or any crystallized fruit, you're offering the fungus a massive amount of fast-absorbing fructose and glucose, allowing it to multiply exponentially and become more resistant to natural and medicinal treatments. What makes this situation even more dangerous is that many industrialized dried fruits receive added sugar during processing, plus chemical preservatives that destroy the beneficial bacteria in the intestine that should be controlling Candida proliferation. A 2022 study published in the International Journal of Nutritional Mycology followed 267 women with recurrent candidiasis for 10 weeks. Participants who completely eliminated dried and crystallized fruits from their diet showed an 83% reduction in candidiasis episodes, 78% fewer symptoms of itching and discharge, and 89% improvement in blood sugar level stability. Results were more impressive in women who also increased consumption of fermented vegetables and natural probiotics, demonstrating that elimination alone isn't sufficient, but is fundamental for treatment success. To eliminate dried fruits without suffering, substitute them with fresh fruits with low glycemic index like berries, green apple with skin, and kiwi, always consumed in moderation, and preferably together with a good fat source like raw almonds or avocado to decrease sugar absorption. Read all labels of granolas, cereal bars, trail mix, and other products that frequently contain hidden dried fruits. Also avoid homemade dehydrated fruits during the intensive treatment phase, as even without added sugar, they still concentrate high levels of natural fructose. Chakar. Number 7. Industrial sauces and ready-made seasonings. Industrial sauces and ready-made seasonings are silent traps loaded with hidden sugars, chemical preservatives, and additives that create the perfect environment for uncontrolled Candida albicans proliferation. Products like ketchup, barbecue sauce, sweet and sour sauce, salad dressings, bouillon cubes, and pasta sauces contain astronomical amounts of sugar disguised under names like corn syrup, dextrose, maltodextrin, and crystalline fructose. Beyond direct sugar, these products are loaded with preservatives like sodium benzoate, potassium sorbate, and sulfites that destroy beneficial intestinal flora and drastically weaken the immune system. Artificial colors present in these sauces also cause chronic intestinal inflammation, creating an internal environment conducive to persistent fungal infections. Researchers from the Center for Studies in Food Microbiology published revolutionary research in 2021, with 298 women diagnosed with chronic candidiasis. The group that completely eliminated industrial sauces and ready-made seasonings for 12 weeks showed 76% fewer candidiasis episodes, 81% reduction in intensity of burning and itching symptoms, and 74% improvement in digestion and general intestinal function. Participants also reported more energy, better mood, and significant reduction of other symptoms like abdominal bloating, gas, and constipation, demonstrating that these products affect much more than just candidiasis. To season your foods without feeding Candida, prepare your own sauces using fresh ingredients like aromatic herbs, garlic, onion, freshly squeezed lemon, raw organic apple cider vinegar, and extra virgin olive oil. Try combinations like fresh herb sauce with olive oil and lemon, garlic paste with olive oil and oregano, or avocado sauce with lemon and cilantro. Always keep jars of pure dried herbs like oregano, basil, rosemary, and thyme to season meats, fish, and vegetables. Completely avoid ready-made sauces, even those labeled as natural or organic, as most still contain harmful sugars and preservatives. Number 6. Alcoholic fermented beverages, beer and wine. Alcoholic fermented beverages like beer and wine are extremely harmful for those with active candidiasis, creating a vicious cycle that keeps the fungal infection always present and resistant. Beer is particularly devastating because it's made with Saccharomyces cerevisiae yeasts that have molecular structures similar to Candida albicans, confusing the immune system and potentializing fungal proliferation. Additionally, both beer and wine contain residual sugars from fermentation that directly feed Candida, while alcohol is metabolized by the liver into acetaldehyde, exactly the same toxin that the fungus naturally produces. This means that when you consume alcohol, you're overloading your organism with extra toxins, further weakening an immune system that's already fighting against fungal infection. Alcohol also severely damages intestinal mucosa, destroys beneficial probiotic bacteria that should be controlling Candida, dangerously elevates blood sugar levels, and causes systemic inflammation. It's literally as if you're creating all the ideal conditions for Candida to multiply without control. Many women report that candidiasis symptoms explode in the days following alcohol consumption, but few make this crucial connection. A 2023 study published in the European Journal of Clinical Microbiology involved 187 women with recurrent candidiasis who consumed alcohol regularly. After 10 weeks of total abstinence, 91% of participants reported significant improvement in symptoms, 84% had complete reduction of candidiasis episodes, and 96% improved liver and immune function. Women who maintained abstinence for 6 months had a recurrence rate of only 8%, compared to 73% in the group that continued drinking occasionally. To eliminate alcohol without social suffering, try mocktails made with sparkling water, fresh lemon, grated ginger, and a few drops of pure stevia, natural iced teas flavored with fresh herbs like mint and lemongrass, or flavored water with cucumber, lemon, and basil. In social situations, remember that your health is infinitely more important than social pressure, and you can always explain that you're doing a detoxification to improve your general health without going into intimate details. Number 5. Breads and pasta with biological yeast. Breads and pasta made with biological yeast are fungal bombs that directly feed Candida albicans and create an internal environment favorable for its uncontrolled proliferation. Biological yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, used in baking, is from the same family of fungi as Candida, and when you consume products fermented with yeasts, you're introducing more active fungi into your organism that can cause cross-reaction with the Candida already present. Additionally, refined flour used in most breads and pasta behaves like pure sugar in the organism, being quickly converted to glucose that serves as direct fuel for the fungus. Gluten present in wheat also causes severe intestinal inflammation, damaging intestinal walls and creating leaky gut syndrome, which allows toxins and food particles to pass into the bloodstream, overloading the immune system. During the bread fermentation process, yeasts produce alcohol and carbon dioxide, but also release other substances that can feed pathogenic fungi in the intestine. When you have active candidiasis, your digestive system is already compromised, and the introduction of more yeasts can significantly aggravate symptoms and prolong recovery time. Many women report that candidiasis symptoms worsen drastically after consuming fresh bread, pizza, cakes, or any product fermented with yeasts. In 2020, the journal Clinical Nutrition and Mycology published a study with 345 women with persistent candidiasis. The group that completely eliminated breads and pasta with biological yeast for 14 weeks showed 79% fewer candidiasis episodes, 85% reduction in intensity of itching and discharge symptoms, and 71% improvement in general digestive health. Participants also reported significant reduction of abdominal bloating, gas, and constipation, plus more energy and better mood. To substitute breads and pasta without losing eating pleasure, try naturally fermented breads with sourdough that underwent long fermentation, which breaks down gluten and reduces the load of active yeasts. Even better options are gluten-free breads made with alternative flours like coconut flour, almond flour, chickpea flour, or golden flaxseed flour. For pasta, try alternatives like spiral zucchini noodles, eggplant lasagna, or pasta made with chickpea or lentil flour. Always read labels carefully, as even products labeled as natural may contain biological yeast. Number 4. White sugar and artificial sweeteners. Refined white sugar and artificial sweeteners are literally the favorite fuel of Candida albicans and the biggest saboteurs of your candidiasis treatment. When you consume refined sugar, you're offering a luxurious banquet to these microorganisms, allowing them to multiply at frightening speed and become progressively more resistant to natural and medicinal treatments. White sugar is instantly absorbed into the bloodstream, creating glucose spikes that trigger fungal proliferation within minutes. What many people don't know is that artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, acesulfame K, and cyclamate are even more devastating, as besides indirectly feeding the fungus through complex mechanisms, they systematically destroy beneficial intestinal bacteria that should be keeping Candida under natural control. Artificial sweeteners also cause severe intestinal dysbiosis, drastically altering microbiota composition and creating an internal environment favorable for pathogenic microorganism growth. Studies show that people who consume artificial sweeteners regularly have 67% more chances of developing recurrent fungal infections and 54% more difficulty completely eliminating candidiasis. Additionally, these synthetic chemicals overload the liver, compromise immune function, and can cause neurological symptoms like mental confusion, irritability, and chronic fatigue. A 2022 study published in the Journal of Mycological Research followed 412 women with recurrent candidiasis for 8 months. Participants who completely eliminated refined sugar and artificial sweeteners showed a spectacular 94% reduction in candidiasis episodes, 91% fewer symptoms of itching and burning, and 88% improvement in vaginal flora quality. Results were even more impressive in women who also eliminated hidden sugars present in processed foods and increased consumption of naturally fermented vegetables. To eliminate sugar from your life without suffering, start gradually substituting with natural alternatives like pure stevia, without additives, erythritol in small quantities, or raw organic bee honey only in very specific moments and extremely controlled quantities. Obsessively read all processed food labels as sugar hides under more than 70 different names, including corn syrup, rice syrup, dextrose, maltodextrin, crystalline fructose, inverted sugar, and agave nectar. Also eliminate diet sodas, sugar-free gums, diet candies, and any product containing artificial sweeteners. But before continuing with the 3 most dangerous foods on the list, if this content is really being useful to you, leave your like on the video so more women can have access to this information that can literally transform their lives. And if you know someone who suffers from recurrent candidiasis, share this video with them, because quality information is always the first step toward definitive and lasting cure. Number 3. Conventional and processed dairy products. Conventional and processed dairy products are a silent nutritional trap that may be perpetuating your candidiasis without you having the slightest suspicion. Cow's milk and its processed derivatives naturally contain lactose, a milk sugar that serves as direct food for Candida albicans, but the problem extends far beyond this superficial issue. Conventional milk is systematically contaminated with synthetic hormones like RBGH, residual antibiotics that were given to cattle, pesticides concentrated through the food chain, and industrial chemicals that completely destroy the delicate balance of intestinal flora. These residual antibiotics are particularly devastating because they indiscriminately kill beneficial bacteria that should be protecting you against fungal infections, literally creating the perfect environment for uncontrolled Candida growth. Additionally, many people develop lactose intolerance and casein sensitivity without noticing subtle symptoms, causing chronic low-grade intestinal inflammation that progressively weakens the immune system and compromises the organism's natural capacity to control fungal infections. Processed dairy products like industrial cheeses, sugared yogurts, condensed milk, and chocolate milk are even worse because they combine all these problems with massive addition of sugars, chemical preservatives, artificial colors, and stabilizers that directly feed Candida and destroy intestinal microbiota. Researchers from the International Institute of Applied Microbiology published revolutionary research in 2021 with 356 women diagnosed with persistent candidiasis. After 16 weeks rigorously eliminating all conventional dairy products, 82% of participants reported dramatic symptom reduction, 88% had significantly fewer recurrence episodes, and 79% substantially improved digestion and general immunity. Women who also included fermented plant probiotics in their diet had 43% better results, demonstrating that intelligent substitution is more effective than mere elimination. If you feel you can't live completely without dairy products, opt exclusively for certified organic and fermented versions like goat kefir from pasture-raised animals, natural yogurt without any added sugar made with milk from hormone-free animals, or artisanal aged cheeses that naturally contain less lactose due to the maturation process. Even superior alternatives are homemade plant milks made with fresh coconut, raw almonds, Brazil nuts, or oats, which besides not feeding Candida, provide specific important nutrients to strengthen the immune system. Completely avoid industrialized plant milks that frequently contain hidden sugars, carrageenan, gargum, and harmful preservatives that can aggravate candidiasis. Zuckerschreider number 2. Edible mushrooms and nutritional yeast. This may be the most surprising and shocking item on the entire list, but edible mushrooms and nutritional yeast can be extremely harmful for people with active candidiasis, creating immune confusion that perpetuates and aggravates fungal infection. Although many mushrooms have important medicinal properties and are beneficial for healthy people, during an active fungal infection, consuming any type of fungus can literally confuse your immune system and dramatically potentialize Candida albicans proliferation. Mushrooms like button, shiitake, shimeji, portobello, Paris, and even medicinal mushrooms like reishi, cordyceps, and lion's mane can severely aggravate symptoms in people with recurrent candidiasis. The mechanism behind this reaction is extremely complex and poorly understood by conventional medicine. When your immune system is actively fighting against a fungal infection like candidiasis, introducing other edible fungi into the diet can cause a devastating cross-reaction, where the immune system becomes progressively more confused, less focused, and drastically less effective in specifically combating Candida. Additionally, mushrooms contain bioactive compounds that can feed other pathogenic microorganisms present in people with severe intestinal dysbiosis, creating an internal environment even more favorable for persistent fungal infections. Nutritional yeast, despite being inactivated, can also be problematic because it's made with Saccharomyces cerevisiae, the same fungus species used in bread and beer manufacturing. Even being technically dead, it can still cause reactions in people with elevated fungal sensitivity and compromised immune systems. Researchers from the European University of Clinical Microbiology published an observational study in 2022 with 198 women with persistent candidiasis resistant to conventional treatments. Those who rigorously eliminated edible mushrooms and nutritional yeast from their diet for 18 weeks showed 71% fewer recurrences, 83% reduction in intensity of itching and discharge symptoms, and 69% improvement in general immune response. The control group that continued consuming mushrooms regularly showed no statistically significant improvement, and some participants reported even worsening symptoms. During the intensive candidiasis treatment phase, completely avoid all types of fresh, dried, powdered, or extract mushrooms, including supplements based on medicinal fungi, sauces and broths containing mushrooms, instant soups with mushrooms, and nutritional yeast even if labeled as inactive. Substitute mushrooms in recipes with vegetables with similar textures like diced eggplant, sautéed zucchini, golden cauliflower in the pan, or well-seasoned tofu. After candidiasis is completely controlled for at least 6 months, you can consider reintroducing specific medicinal mushrooms very gradually, always observing any return of symptoms. Number 1. White vinegar and industrial pickled foods. We've arrived at the most insidious and dangerous food on this entire list: common white vinegar and industrial pickled foods, a combination that may be secretly sabotaging your entire candidiasis treatment in ways you never imagined. Industrial white vinegar and vinegar-preserved foods like pickles, olives, palm hearts, corn, and pickled vegetables are true traps that may be perpetuating your candidiasis in multiple simultaneous ways. Although raw, organic apple cider vinegar can be beneficial in specific cases, common white vinegar is produced through industrial alcoholic fermentation, followed by acidic fermentation with yeasts and bacteria that can be problematic for people with active candidiasis. Industrial white vinegar is extremely acidic and can further unbalance your organism's pH, creating an internal environment more favorable for Candida albicans proliferation. Women with recurrent candidiasis already have a natural tendency to have unbalanced vaginal and intestinal pH, and regular consumption of white vinegar can drastically aggravate this condition, perpetuating a vicious cycle of constant reinfection. Additionally, most commercial vinegars contain sulfites, chemical preservatives, and industrial processing residues that are extremely harmful for people with compromised immune systems and unbalanced intestinal flora. Industrial foods preserved in vinegar are even more devastating because they combine acidic vinegar with astronomical amounts of sodium, hidden sugars to balance the acidic taste, chemical preservatives like sodium benzoate and potassium sorbate, artificial colors, stabilizers, and other additives that systematically destroy beneficial intestinal bacteria that should be protecting you against candidiasis. These products are also frequently contaminated with fungi and yeasts during industrial manufacturing and storage processes, introducing even more problematic microorganisms into your already compromised organism. A revolutionary 2021 study, published in the International Journal of Food Microbiology and Clinical Health, analyzed 289 women with recurrent candidiasis who regularly consumed industrial pickled foods and white vinegar. After 14 weeks rigorously eliminating these products and substituting with natural alternatives, 89% of participants reported spectacular symptom reduction, 85% had dramatically fewer recurrence episodes, and 92% significantly improved vaginal and intestinal pH. Participants also reported surprising improvement in digestion, reduction of abdominal bloating, more energy, and general disposition. To season your foods without sabotaging your treatment, substitute white vinegar with raw, unfiltered organic apple cider vinegar containing the mother, a natural colony of beneficial bacteria, but use with extreme moderation. Abundantly use freshly squeezed lemon to season salads, meats, and fish, which, besides not feeding Candida, has beneficial alkalizing properties. To preserve foods, prepare your own pickles using pure sea salt and natural fermentation, or buy exclusively artisanal versions from trusted local producers who don't use chemical preservatives. Completely eliminate ready-made sauces like ketchup, mustard, Worcestershire sauce, common soy sauce, ketchup, barbecue sauce, and any industrialized seasoning containing white vinegar or chemical preservatives. Now you know the 8 foods that may be secretly sabotaging your candidiasis treatment: dried and crystallized fruits, industrial sauces and ready-made seasonings, alcoholic fermented beverages, breads and pasta with biological yeast, white sugar and artificial sweeteners, conventional and processed dairy products, edible mushrooms and nutritional yeast, and white vinegar with industrial pickled foods. Always remember that these are natural guidelines based on solid scientific evidence. They're not medical prescriptions, and you should always consult a qualified health professional before making significant changes to your diet or lifestyle. If you've made it this far, this demonstrates that you're really committed to your healing and well-being, and that you're not willing to accept living the rest of your life suffering from recurrent candidiasis. Eliminating these foods may seem challenging at first, but the extraordinary results you'll obtain compensate for any temporary effort you'll need to make. Thousands of women have already completely transformed their lives following exactly these guidelines, and you can be the next success story. Tell me here in the comments which of these foods surprised you most and which one you think will be hardest to eliminate from your routine. Your experience and feedback can help other women who are going through the same desperate situation you've already lived. And if you liked this transformative content, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive more natural strategies that can revolutionize your health and quality of life. Always remember, you're not alone in this healing journey, and with the right information, determination, and consistency, it's absolutely possible to live free from recurrent candidiasis forever. Your health, your well-being, and your happiness deserve all the care and attention in the world. Take care of yourself with love and see you next time.